Hey everybody, we are back and we are live.
We're here. We are here. Sorry for the brief hiatus. Life, but we're back.
Yes.
And we're ready.
Yeah. And just remember, the hiatus was because of Thanksgiving, which we told you about.
We did.
And then I was out of town on vacation and all that kind of stuff. And Gary was
I was
also
too full from Thanksgiving because cheated on my diet and had some ramifications from it.
Yep.
But worth it, and I'm much better now. So
yes.
So yeah.
Yes. Excellent.
So, anything happened in the world of movies while we were gone? I don't think.
Oh no, anything at all? No.
What did we miss? What did we miss?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Yeah. This is an episode where we are going to have plenty to say, and I am going to be very curious. I mean, I feel like I know some of your thoughts, Gary, but you know what? I guess we're just gonna go ahead and just dig into this because
dig in.
We have a time frame that we would like to stay in, and we don't. And probably for our blood pressure, it's best if we just get into it and get it done.
Yep.
But things need to be discussed.
This is what I promise. This is water. I'm not a drinker. I haven't fell off the wagon. This is water.
Good.
It probably needs to be stronger with today's subject matter, but it's water.
Yes.
So.
It's water. And so I know. So here we go. We are going to just dig into this here. And this is what we're talking about. And I think the picture, there it is.
There it is.
And, I'm sure a lot of you guys have already been catching on to what's going on. Maybe you've already heard all this because all this kind of broke this last weekend or kind of like last weekend and the Monday, and people really digging into all this stuff. And this whole week from the ramifications of this has just been like a roller coaster of things that are happening. But in case you haven't heard, just in case, Warner Brothers announced that all of their 2021 movies that were supposed to be theatrical releases are now going to be theatrical and instantly released on HBO Max on the same day of those movies. Now, we already heard this from Wonder Woman 84 that they were going to do this on Christmas Day, release it theatrically and on HBO Max. And we were like, okay, that was one movie. But then they said all of them. So as you see on there, Suicide Squad, Dune, Godzilla, the Space Jam 2, Matrix 4, dear heavens, I don't know, so many more. Everything. All right, everything is going on there.
Same day.
Yep. So
same time.
Yeah. All 20 movies on the same day. No,
that'd be something. Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? No, but the day they come out will also come out on HBO Max. And it just, so you had the VOD and the theatrical release. This has caused a whirlwind of things. But of course, you guys know how Gary and I love the theaters. You guys know how Gary and I also do love streaming stuff, just to be fair.
I do.
But obviously for us, this was news that did not make us happy whatsoever. Did not make us happy. Now, no, there may be some out there who may think like, well, go into the future. This is what theaters are an old thing anyways. No one wants to pay those prices, blah, blah, blah. And we listen, Gary and I, we know those arguments. We hear those arguments. We understand them for what I would call super casual moviegoer. Because I feel like we're casual. Like we don't watch everything. I feel like we're casual.
We are casual.
But then there's the super casual that are just like, this is great. I don't have to go to the movies and spend $50. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, you're super casual. You might watch 3-4 movies a year. That's not us.
If that. Yeah.
But, and if you're offended right now, I didn't mean to offend you. You're just getting.
No, we did.
Well, Gary did, I guess.
Yeah.
I've been so frustrated about it. And now it's just, everybody's just going to hear it from me. That's all it is. Everybody's going down with me. Everything burns. Yeah. Everything burns.
Everything burns. It's about sending a message.
Yep.
Yes. Well, here we are.
Yep. So here we are. Gary, how about you start us off?
Okay.
And we're just going to go at this. So go ahead, my man.
Since day one, when all this discussion started, this was my fear. This is what I feared would happen. I want to preface by saying what you said. I love streaming. I love the convenience of streaming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an HBO Max subscriber.
Oh, look at that.
I've watched it regularly. I think there's a lot of really good stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
But the decision they made last week, I think, is going to be detrimental to a lot of people and to fans of the movie theater experience, people that work in the movie theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And they can say what they want, that this is just for this year. No, this is their next step. And I think it's a very irresponsible decision. And this isn't a decision like Disney did with Mulan where you pay extra. No, this is no extra costs on the release day. You can either go watch Matrix 4 at the theater or you can sit on your couch and watch it. And just a world we're in these days, sadly, majority of people are going to choose to sit and watch it on their couch. This is good news for people who either, one, don't like to leave their house, and this is coming from one of the world's biggest homebodies, or people who just can't, and if that's you out there, you're quarantined or you can't get out. Okay, fine. Fair enough. Watch Wonder Woman and enjoy it. But my fear is this decision is going to do what Netflix did to the movie stores, to Blockbuster. It's going to do it to theaters. And it sucks.
Yep.
Yes. And
or even before that, Redbox. But Redbox did to Blockbuster.
Yep. Redbox. Yep. And so, I mean, I don't know. I wish it was. I really wish they would have said, "Hey, 30 days in the theater, then streaming." Yeah. Okay, I get it. Right. But this all at once is just wow.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're doing everything is just it's a sad day for the movie world. I'll just be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, because honestly, like you brought up the 30 days, right? And for me, I just want to hit on that real fast before I dig into some other thoughts. But to me, the third, because AMC did that with Universal. They said 30 days in the theaters, or maybe it was like 30 or 40 days or something. Either way, they had that time slot of theaters only, and then they'll be able to release wherever else how they want to release it. And even that kind of sucked. I also saw the benefit because let's be honest, after the first month of a movie being in theaters, how many of those theaters are sitting empty, or maybe one person is sitting there watching a movie because they decided to wait longer because they didn't want to sit with crowds or something, right? So it's like, okay, I can kind of understand it. And from the theater standpoint, it's probably smarter, like not deal with it, even though they get a bigger cut of the box office at that point after 30 days or whatever. But, if your cut is 3 or 4 people in a room, at $12 each, okay, you made $40 or 46, whatever, So like, I can understand that at least a little better, but this, I'm with you, man. Like, okay, look, I just look at this picture right here, right? Like other way. Whoops. That picture right there. I don't know how to point into my camera.
Oh,
no. So that one that you see right there. And when I look at that, like Dune, okay, I don't know much about Dune, but the trailer looked pretty sick. I mean, I even like, okay, Space Jam, is what it is. But then for me, being a huge Godzilla fan, I don't want to see that first at home on a small screen. No. Godzilla versus King Kong. Like, you need a freaking biggest IMAX screen that you can find to watch that movie. And what kills me about this, and here's the biggest thing for me, is yes, theaters dying, this, that, the other. But other than that, if theaters die because of these kinds of moves, here's what I'm afraid of, that we're going to have much smaller scale movies with smaller budgets, and we're not going to be able to see the spectacles that we have come to love in theaters. For instance, Endgame was a spectacle. It is a giant. You think someone's going to give a budget for that to go straight to streaming when they can't make back, a couple $100 million that they spent on a movie? Absolutely not. It's not going to happen. Because again, with streaming and stuff, they're not making as much money back. And so it just, to me, it's just like how, so a movie like Godzilla, the scale, like if for those who have seen maybe King of the Monsters and stuff, the scale that those things were done, you would never see something like that on streaming. I mean, look at what's, okay. Again, I'm just sticking on the Godzilla thing because that's biggest one for me. That I'm like, oh, come on. But like what was on Netflix was animated, and that's what you have to go with. But even animated doesn't do it justice. And so that's even my fear with this is if we continue down this road where theaters die and everything's just streaming, the movies that we've come to love, even the super casual fans that have come to love, that they'll come out 3 or 4 times a year to see these spectacles like Endgame or Justice League, or whatever. Now you're not even going to get that.
Nope.
And now you're going to get much more scaled down movies that, shows and stuff. Yeah, could they be good? Yes, absolutely. But they're not going to have the budget behind them. And that's what, to me, it's like, this was just this was a very, very greedy move.
Yes.
By Warner Brothers. This was a very greedy move. They said, hey, we own or are partners with HBO. I think they own HBO Max, I think. But I can't exactly remember how all that pans out. But they're like, we'll just take all of our stuff. It's like the kid who's like, I'm just going to take my ball and go home.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no. Like, what are you doing? Like, stick this out. Just, if you have to delay it. Or at least, like you said, do 30 days in the theater, and then it goes on HBO Max.
Yeah. Well, Universal did.
Like give it a chance. And it's just like, to me, Warner Brothers is just saying, the heck with it. We're not counting on theaters anymore. Let's move on. But at the same time, I'm like, how is this sustainable for entertainment, for the movie world?
Yeah. It's not. And we'll get to their quotes, but some of our favorite directors, Christopher Nolan, James Gunn, Steven Spielberg, they make movies. Like Christopher Nolan, for example, when he makes a movie, it's kind of going on what you said. He doesn't make a movie so I can enjoy it on my 70-inch TV. Does he want me to? Yes. He makes a movie so the first time I see it is on the biggest screen possible. That's the vision. And this hurts all that. It truly affects everything.
Yes. I think Christopher Nolan puts it the best when he says, he's making movies. He wants to make an experience for people. That's what he's trying to say. He's not just making film. He's trying to create an experience for people that when they go to the movie theater, they can experience it like nothing else. And that's what he's creating. He's creating things to be an experience, not just show up and watch this film. And so again, when you can have the best home theater. Listen, I love our big screen, 60, whatever it is, 5-inch screen with my surround sound, all that stuff. I love it. Heck, I used to have a projector. I loved it. But you know what? It's still, I will still never have that, maybe $20,000 projector that movie theater has. I'll never have that screen size. I'll never have that, 9.1 surround sound, because you need the size and the room for that kind of stuff to work. I will never have that experience at home. No one ever will. Now, for people who they just watch movies for entertainment, I can understand that they're just like, this is just to kill time. They could care less. But when you're talking about, when you're talking about Avengers Endgame, that now made, the most ever, 2.7 billion or whatever, like people went for the experience. The experience of watching it with friends, experience of watching it in a big group of people that you don't know, experience at the same time, having similar reactions. They went to see it on the biggest screen possible because they wanted to be able, again, to just see it as intended on the IMAX and how the filmmakers intend. Like, there are a lot of people showed up for that experience, and that's what they wanted. You're just not going to get that at home. And if you're casual to, connoisseur of movies, like, this just doesn't cut it. It just doesn't.
No. And even movies that I didn't like, I still remember the experience, like right here. I didn't like Avatar. Yeah. But I went to go see it with my wife when we were dating. I remember the experience. I remember sitting with her and talking with her and be like, what is this? Is this over yet? Like the experience was still great, Right. And
that's what I love how he puts it. Just throwing this back up, it was quite the experience. Listen, opinion about the movie aside, what James Cameron did visually with the visuals of that movie, whether you liked it or not, you were immersed into that movie.
Oh yeah,
and it was an experience that not a lot of people could match.
Yep.
You know,
And
so
yeah, and there's a reason why James Cameron, he's another one. He makes movies for the big screen. You know, when he was making Terminator 2, Aliens, Titanic, Avatar, he wasn't making it so we could sit at home and watch. He wanted us at the theater watching it. And every single one of those movies, I think, at some point got re-released
yes,
in the theater.
they did.
So yeah, I'm afraid that this decision is going to put theaters as we know it in the past, like 3 years from now, we're going to be talking about theaters like people older than us talk about. Remember drive-ins?
Yeah.
You know, we're going to be like, remember theaters? You know,
Yeah.
I don't want that. And this is a huge shot in this streaming versus theater war. And but here's another thing that just came to mind.
Mm-hmm.
All these directors we're talking about, the James Camerons, Christopher Nolan, Quentin Tarantino, all those guys who I know are not happy about this.
Yep.
What if they refuse to work for Warner Brothers? And you get these top guys that just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, yeah, and so let's go ahead and dig into some of that since you already brought it up. I mean, look at this. So let's go ahead and bring this up here. And so this is from The Verge. I mean, anybody can search any of this stuff. But listen to what he's saying. Like that this is Christopher Nolan, the man who since Insomnia, or is Insomnia was first, or was it Memento? Either one.
Memento was first. Yeah.
Memento was first. That's right. Okay. Has been working with WB. Probably WB biggest cash cow. Like, let's be real. Anything from Christopher Nolan. Here's what he had to say. Some of our industry's biggest filmmakers and most important movie stars went to bed the night before thinking they were working for the greatest movie studio and woke up to find out they were working for the worst streaming service. Like, not only is he pissed, he's like throwing shade, and I find it hilarious.
Oh yeah.
But
hey, HBO Max. Before you make decisions like this, can you get on Roku? You're not even on Roku yet. I mean, come on.
There you go. So, but here's what. Then he adds. He's like, listen, because again, he's worked for WB, an incredible machine for getting filmmakers work out everywhere. And he says, this makes no economic sense. Now, obviously, he's talking about this being economic sense and stuff. He's talking this more about like economically for the studios, for the filmmakers, for the actors and actresses and things like that. He's talking about them. And and the thing is and here's what gets weird. All right, like again, you guys can go look this up. I don't have this prepared, so I'm sorry. But the reason why, because Patty Jenkins was huge on, I do not want this to go on streaming. I want this in theaters.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman 84, that is. What made it okay for her and Gal Gadot, whatever, I don't know how to say her last name, but Gadot, for them to clear this, what WB did was say, okay, look, we're going to do this. We're going to do theater and HBO. But here's the thing. When it comes contractually to these directors and stuff, if they say, here's how much we're going to pay you to make the movie, and then if the movie makes so many X millions of dollars, you get a bonus. If it makes this many, you get a bonus. If it makes this many, you get a bonus. So what they did with Wonder Woman 84, they said, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to release it theaters and HBO Max same day, but we're going to go ahead and treat it like it made $1 billion. And so therefore, you'll get all your bonuses for us to make this happen. So you'll get paid all your money that we promised you if the money got made. So we're just going to treat it that way. So of course, they're like, okay, fine. We're going to make our money. We're going to get our bonuses. That's fine. And they did not do that for anybody else. They only did it for this film. So people like, like Christopher Nolan, granted Tenet is still out in theaters, actually. Yeah. Even though it's about to be released on DVD next week,
next week
I will be watching.
Pick it up.
Yep. And side note, I got to watch Tenet last week for second viewing. And Gary, as soon as you watch it again, I want us to do a second viewing review on Tenet.
Indeed.
Yes, that'll be coming.
I'm going to Target the day it comes out. I'm picking it up.
Yep. So, but side note, but this is the man who she has more plans coming, I'm sure. But they did not promise that to anybody. So there's Christopher Nolan, again, huge theater experienced guy, not happy about this at all. Now listen, WB, you ticked off probably the greatest director you have.
Yeah.
Has been making billions of dollars for you. He ain't happy with you. Not a smart move. Not at all. You go ahead, Gary. I'm sorry. I've been chatting. I get my rants as well. Go ahead.
I mean, I have nothing to add.
You're just there. You're just there. So so he's not happy. But the thing is, it doesn't stop there. I'm going to pull some other stuff up here. I mean, Legendary Pictures. All right. So guys, check this out. So Legendary Pictures right here is reportedly considering a lawsuit against Warner Brothers Pictures over the decision to release Dune, the Dune remake on HBO Max, at the same time released in theaters. So here's Legendary. Here's the thing with Legendary. Christopher Nolan works with Legendary. So there you go. Legendary has Dune. Legendary also has Godzilla. And Legendary has a lot of the movies. I think up to 17 of the movies coming out. I can't remember. But Legendary has a lot. And here's the problem with this. Legendary, like on Dune or Matrix and Godzilla, they've put up about 60 to 70% of the money to fund these films. And WB didn't even have the courtesy to say, hey, this is what we're thinking about.
Jeez.
So, of course, they're ticked off because we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars got poured into these films, and they weren't even consulted when they were the majority ones investing their money into it. So, Gary, I asked you, if you invest that much of money into something and that percentage, how would you feel if no one told you we're going straight to streaming and who?
Oh, man. I'd feel robbed. I'd feel lied to. I'd feel taken advantage of. I mean, you name it. I'd feel just not great, It is it's greedy, it's sneaky. And just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it.
Right.
And they got, it's a mess. It really is. And it's just, it's messed up.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't get it. It's like WB Legendary is like your biggest partner because they do stuff with Christopher Nolan. They do stuff like, again, they've done the Godzilla stuff. They're doing the new Dune that's coming out.
John Wick too, right? Matrix,
John Wick,
all those movies,
Matrix, all those are majorly funded by Legendary. So it's like this. So not only have you ticked off your probably your greatest director you have that will work with you, you've also ticked off your biggest partner in doing, and you didn't consult either one of them. And so, I mean, like if you keep reading, so if you just keep reading here, I mean, they're trying to, have the legal action at this point with AJ hoping to strike a new deal in light of all this. So they're still trying to make it work. However, we will see what happens. There's a picture of Oscar Isaac and Dune, so they're just showing us. So here we go. Legendary co-financed Dune and Godzilla versus Kong alongside WB. And it was a big investment. Dune, approximately $175 million, while Godzilla was $160 million. So this is no small chunk and potentially lost to theaters. It doesn't rebound in 2021. And so like, this isn't, so I just don't get it. If you keep reading through here, it digs you more into things. It gives you some release dates and stuff down here, but it digs more into that. And the thing is, that's not the only people they had ticked off. Gary, I will go ahead and just get this out here so we can have this. Check this out. We also have the Directors Guild of America.
Everyone.
Everybody.
Basically, everybody who didn't work on Wonder Woman 84 is mad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, pretty much. Yeah.
So here we go. The director of the DGA, Russell Hollander, has sent a letter to Warner Brothers CEO Ann Sarnoff demanding a meeting to address the issues with the plan, specifically how the films that are streamed will be valued. Source told The Hollywood Reporter, which this is coming from Variety.
I picture like a meeting like in The Godfather with all the families.
I know, right?
Christopher Nolan's just at the end of the table. And it's just like, man, to be a fly on that wall. Yeah.
And so, and here's the kicker here. The letter from the DGA referenced a 2019 meeting with the executives of parent Warner Media on that issue. So they had a meeting back in 2019 to kind of discuss these things, and they never came back to them. Now, neither one has commented since then. This is just, here's what's happening. But they're not happy, and I'm sure as well. What is it? The actors union. They're the actors. there's just so much going on here. There's so much money that is up for grabs here. And here's the fact of the matter is, again, like I said earlier, like how can they possibly make their money back if they just do streaming like this in theaters? Because let's be real, you and I, we're going to the theaters and then we'll deal with streaming, but not everybody's going to do that.
No. And this is going to hurt the little guy. This is going to hurt the workers behind the scenes. We've talked about people who work at theaters, who depend on that. People who, I mean, you name it, it's going to affect the entire industry. You know, think about the vendors who depend on popcorn sales and soda sales. I mean, everything is going to be affected by this. And if you are a movie theater lover like we are, I want to tell you, like we said last week with the physical media, look at these list of movies coming out. And I'm not going to tell you to go see all of them because, I mean, I probably won't be able to see all of them. Circle the ones you want to go see and make plans to go see it. You know, Christmas Day, I can sit on my couch and watch Wonder Woman because I do have HBO Max, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make plans with you to go see it over our Christmas break, you know, because we need to support this, you know, we need to support theaters and find the movies. Just kind of like we talked about, what movies do you want to buy? Make a list, go get them. And same thing with theaters, you know, because that is what is going to hopefully keep theaters open. People like us step up and go see these movies.
Show these studios, show Warner Brothers, show Disney, show anybody else, DreamWorks, whatever. Show these people that we want to see these things in theaters. Now, I understand people are worried about pandemic and stuff. If you're not worried about that, if you feel safe, like Gary and I do, we wear our mask.
Wear a mask.
I mean, they go in all the theaters. They're doing the sanitation Ghostbuster pack splash thing. Yeah, there we go. You know, they clean everything. Like I've been to theaters since. I've been to theater in Florida when I was gone last week. Everything's pretty darn clean. I felt safe going in there. So if you feel safe, go do it. If you don't, I understand. But but here's the thing that kills me is HBO, like Warner Brothers said, and this is probably the biggest line of nonsense I've ever heard. They said this is just our plan for 2021.
Yeah, no, that's
really
no. Yeah, this is their new norm. I wish they could at least be honest. If they're gonna screw everybody over, at least don't lie about it.
I know.
You know.
I know. I mean, or at least tell a half truth, like, hey, we think this is where everything's heading, so we're gonna go ahead and try it out this year. And if it works out, we're gonna keep moving. If it doesn't, we'll go back to normal. Like at least kind of tell the truth, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And so the only I wrote on a rundown trying to see a good side to this. The only good side I see for those people who love movies who can't leave their house. Yes. Okay. Enjoy Wonder Woman Christmas Day. I'm not throwing shade at you. If, God forbid, we get locked down again in the state, we'll have no movies to watch. Okay. That's really it, honestly. I worry about, and keep in mind, this is coming from one of the world's biggest homebodies. But I do worry about our culture continuing to make decisions to keep us in our homes for everything. We shop online now. We order our groceries on. We do everything online now. It's convenient, yes, but the more we keep doing things to keep us indoors, the more isolated I just don't think it's good for us as a culture. And I know sorry if that got too deep, but that's kind of I'm worried. You know?
I'm with you, and I would try to be concise, but we aren't meant to be alone.
No,
we're not. We're meant to do things in community. We're meant to do things with other people. We're meant to experience things as a pack, as a community of people. Like it's always been that way. We're meant to do things together, and the movie theater experience is something else that we can do with a group of people. And we can't, side note, people can disagree with me, and that's fine, but we can't just live in fear all the time and then completely isolate and do nothing. It's not good for our mental health. It's not good for any of that stuff. And
not at all.
And this goes beyond movie theaters, but movie theaters also gives us a little bit of escapism to get away from the junk that we're trying to. Oh yeah, that we're trying to.
Heck, I'll be honest. There's been 2 times this year that I have been completely away from my cell phone. When we went and saw Rise of Skywalker, I guess that was last year, and we went and saw Tenet. You know, that's the only times I got to go to the movies. I mean, it unplugs us. Yes, we're still looking at a screen, but we're out. We're escapism. That's the perfect way to do it. And I mean, I didn't care for Rise of Skywalker. We've talked about it, but I will always remember the night you, me, Dental, Dom go with it. Dom.
Yep.
We went to see it, and then we went to eat pizza after it and talked about the movie. You know, that was. I mean, you know, it's just. Yeah, and I don't want to see moments like that go away. You know.
Right. Right. So I say, WB, if for whatever reason you're listening to us, or any other studio for that matter, at the very least, give us a 30-day window.
Yeah.
Give theaters a 30-day window before you put on HBO Max. That way the super casual goers say, I'll just wait 30 days. Okay, fine. And you can still watch it. But us theater lovers can still go to theaters and enjoy it and support theaters, local theaters. Listen, even if it's a chain like AMC or Regal or anything, guess what? Each theater is still owned by a franchise owner who lives in your community. You're still supporting a guy in your community or girl, whoever happens to own it.
Girls can't own theaters. I read that the other day. So that's good.
Thanks for calling me out, Gary. Jeez.
What a time to be alive. Just kidding. Sorry.
Gosh.
But yeah, I mean, this is how we feel. You know, I love streaming. I love the convenience of it, but I don't want it to be the only option.
Yep.
You know,
agreed. And I'm not happy about this at all, but it seems like maybe there'll be enough pushback to get some kind of compromise or something.
Yeah.
You know, WB thought this was a compromise. Obviously, it's not. It's just them being completely greedy, thinking one-sided. Again, give us 30 days.
Well, I mean, at the same time, I don't think Tenet made the money they were hoping it would make. And I think that scared them. But you also got to realize you got to put a curve to that. You released it in July, you know, when everything, you know what I mean, was
there's still a lot of
shut down than it is now.
Theaters weren't open yet.
Yeah. I mean, we had to go to South Carolina to see it, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, which I'm not complaining because we got to go to Culver's, but you know, you know, just I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a really poor decision.
Yeah, indeed.
You know, this is one of those. Tell us how you really feel. Well, we did.
Yeah, and this is how we feel, and we don't like it. So
my grandpa here, Mel Hall is my grandfather. He says, "I hear you." I'm a little confused there because my entire life, when I would be going to the movies, he would be the one to tell me, "Why are you going to the movies? It's going to be on TV before long." You know? So I don't. Yeah. Okay. Have you changed your ways, Pops?
Yeah. Hopefully so. He has seen the light.
Yeah. He did go see True Grit with me about 10 years ago. And that was another great experience. Me and Pops at the movie theater watching True Grit. Great Western.
Yep. Brings families together.
It does.
Doing something together. Experiencing something together.
It was great because he hadn't been in the movies in probably, oh my gosh. And it was just your standard theater, wasn't IMAX. He was just like, oh my gosh. He looked at me, he said, "Can you imagine if my grandparents saw something like this?" And I was like, yeah, totally. It's pretty cool. So someday I got to get him to an IMAX theater.
Yes, blow his mind.
Oh man. Yeah. I'll take him to see Tenet. Oh man. I don't know if Pops can handle that.
Yeah.
But
so anyways, thank you guys for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe, share, turn on that bell. Yeah. And because we do have a video that will post later tonight on all the new, on more specifically Star Wars and Marvel news from the Disney Investors Day yesterday. So be on the lookout for that. That will be out later tonight.
I'm going to throw a prediction out that we're probably going to be in better moods for that video.
Oh yeah. Much better.
More optimistic. Mood. And be on the lookout next week, next Friday, I believe. Is it next Friday? We're going to do this?
Yeah.
We're going to talk Christmas movies.
Yeah.
So I figured.
In case you haven't seen some yet, we'll give you some to watch before Christmas.
Yes. Christmas movies. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about some 2021 Real Pastors YouTube channel plans. You know?
Yes.
So
yes. Yeah, because next week will probably be our last video until the new year because the week after that's Christmas.
That's Christmas. The only thing we do want to talk some Mandalorian when season 2 wraps up.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for all that.
Turn on the bell
so you don't miss out
whatever the heck we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Turn on the bell. You know, it doesn't cost you a thing, you know, just turn it on. We're here.
Yep.
So
and everything will be great. Turn on, got stuff. Look out for that video tonight. And thanks for joining us. We will catch you guys soon.
Have a great weekend.
See you.